I am about to hop on a call with my client Levi. He's lost 54 pounds in the last 8 months, but that's cool. I love that. We need that to happen. The better piece is he's completely changed his life. I'm talking this dude was in such a bad place 8 months ago, and he had some insane realizations and epiphanies that he needed to change. So we're going to jump on. We're going to talk about that. In this interview, you're going to learn some very important pieces. You're going to learn the difference between when it's just about weight or if it's about the mindset that causes the weight loss to happen. You're going to learn some examples, tangible examples that you're going to be able to take with you if you've been spinning your wheels with your weight loss, where you've started and stopped over and over, because Levi did that. And he's going to give you some great advice on what changed in him internally for him to make this shift and change his life forever. What his daughter said to him 9-10 months ago that stimulated a change. What one of his best friends said to him to help stimulate this change, and how he heard it differently. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Let's jump in.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. Got one of my clients, one of my friends, Levi, with me today. I'm super pumped that he could jump on. Levi's been training with me since last year, and he's lost 54 pounds, and which is awesome. I'm super pumped about it, but there's been so much more to Levi's story, you guys, and it just really falls under the line, as I've got to sit back as his coach. It just really falls under that line of the mantra that Live Beyond Average. And it's been really fun and a blessing for me to be able to just be a part of Levi's story, a small part of it. And so, Levi, welcome on, man.
Thanks.
Dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I was kind of laughing. This is probably the sorest I've been this week since I probably first started. That Tuesday workout just killed me, and I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, I remember that first week when I started with you, and you had me doing home workouts for that first week, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. I was struggling and everything, and so I kind of got brought back to my whatever. It was it's good to have that.
Dude, it's like you remember there's levels to this, right?
Yeah.
It never gets easier. It's one of those things, like the habits, the consistency gets a little easier, but it's like you just end up pushing harder.
Yep.
And pretty cool.
I'll be honest with you, it was a pretty tough squatting this morning. So
let's go. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, you're hitting it right when you feel that way days after the Tuesday workout. It's fine right now. So that's you hit it good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I want to get right into this with you, man. This is perfect segue, because you talked about that first week. And so, I want to actually look back on that version of Levi that first joined my coaching program. What was really bothering you back then on where you were at in your life?
My biggest problem was I had a lot of stress going on in my life. I owned my own business, and dealing with employees, and making sure there's enough work all the time. And I dealt with my stress with grabbing a 12-pack of Busch Light from Casey's in town here every single night, and that was my stress reliever. And I would always say to myself every night, you're drinking too much and all this and that. And I don't know, I bet it went on for 3 years, and I think I worked with you before this past year too. And so I always kept up with you on Facebook, and I think I seen the man boobs thing, and it took me about a month yet to contact you, but it stuck in my head. And the motivational videos and stuff. And I'm like, I need a change. And I think me and you talked on Labor Day, and because everybody's asked me, well, what made you change? And there's answers to that question, but a lot of it is I knew I wasn't present in my family. I always knew it. I just didn't want to come out and admit it to everybody because, yeah, you're the man of the household. You don't want to, everybody always feels like, oh, guys are fine and everything. And,
Yes.
it's hard to admit your struggles. It's very hard and to me, with your program, I'll be honest, it's made me a more honest person, more reliable, not just looking better. It's
Yeah.
it's just made me a way better person in general in life.
Yeah. Dude, that's funny because my next question to that was, what had finally, what was that piece where you finally were like, dude, enough is enough. Like I need to
Yeah.
change something. So it's like you were already into that. So like what were you really tired of feeling like in that moment where you finally reached out? What was that last like feeling where you were just like absolutely sick of it?
Oh, God. It was I hate to put blame on people. I don't like to do that, but it was a lot of stuff to do with dealing with my business partner, and that
Sure.
was starting to go south. And
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, my out was drinking. Well, drink and forget about it,
Yeah.
and well, that's just not an answer to anything. And I left that business now, and yeah, quite honestly, I'm not saying you made me leave my business, but it opened my mind up a lot to what kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was a shit person, and I'm willing to admit that now. And
Yeah.
now I can admit I'm a better person. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talk so much in our program about awareness. That's one of those core concepts that we bring up on all of our group coaching calls, all those things, and how the importance of awareness is in our life, and how obviously fitness, nutrition, all those things, they all web together. Um, but when you were realizing this stuff and you started going through that program, how has that awareness piece, in your fitness, in the nutrition, really tied into real life for you?
real life, yeah, like going back, I'm present.
Yeah,
That's I think that's the number one thing I have been now is present to my family.
yeah,
And I can definitely tell my wife and kids they appreciate that a lot, besides dad sitting in the garage and drinking beer and
yes,
yeah, and not being there for them.
yeah,
And yeah, there again, just lazy, never wanted to go out and do anything. And yeah, we took a trip to the Black Hills just last week. We hiked as a family. And if I was still on that same path before I started with you, there's not a chance I would have hiked or nothing. Not one chance. No. It would have been, let's get to the cabin so I can start drinking.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just that transformation,
Yeah.
of the mind. We talk about the body all the time. We talk everybody. I think everybody on a surface level joins because they want to look better, right? They want to
Yeah.
wait. It's always the subject of conversation, but I do believe subconsciously everybody that joins in, their true hope and desire of change is the stuff you're talking about: better mental health, less stress, more family involvement, more confidence, better relationship with food or alcohol, whatever it is. Like I think those things don't get brought up in the initial call, right? That
Yeah.
we're having.
Yeah.
But it's obviously there, and that's
Yeah.
the hope that people have. And the fitness is the stimulator. And then the relationship, right? Of having somebody that's like, dude, I'm open to conversation. I'm open to the awareness piece, and then in coaching and mentoring through that. And so like what would you say, what was like the biggest surprise that you've had people talk about about your transformation so far?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of, yeah, you look half the size you were. And I just laugh now
Yeah.
because, yeah, people aren't saying it to be offensive, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny now. And yeah, they ask me what I'm doing, and I'm saying, yeah, I do this and watch my food. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I got a trainer too. And the first question always is when you got a trainer, well, isn't that expensive? And I'm like, no, he's actually saving me money if you think about it. Cause, well, I was buying a 12 pack of beer every night. Well, you take that times 30 days, and on the weekend, you're buying probably a case Saturday and Sunday. And
Yeah.
You're actually saving me money. So,
Yeah. And then like half the time, what are you doing? You're ordering a pizza, you
oh
know,
yeah,
because you're too lazy to want to go cook anything, so you
yeah,
grab convenient food. And it just stems, and that is a way of thinking that here's the thing, that way of thinking back then wouldn't have even registered with you.
no,
You know what I mean? And now you can look at it, and it's so obvious. It's like, oh, I can just look at the numbers.
oh yeah, yeah. It's math. So
It's math, but when you're there, it's not math. It's just spending more money.
yeah, yep.
You don't realize you're
It's
taking something away in addition to something better. You know, it's crazy. What was the dude? I really am just curious too of like you've had an external change, but what's been the internal change in all of this that you can like something that it's hard to tangibilize an internal change, but if you could,
internal, like mindset wise or
mindset,
body.
yeah, any of that.
Oh, yeah. The energy is obviously there.
Yeah.
Now. It's kind of a tough question.
That is, and we can circle back to that. And I think I have some questions on the line that maybe we'll circle back to that better.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, a big thing too for you was consistency. Like, you had trained with me years ago. I can't remember the year, but it's been years ago. Um, and you used to always tell me, even back then when we started now, was like consistency was a big struggle for you. What do you understand now that you didn't understand back then?
Well, back then, that was going back to that's what I was scared of, was starting again, was just
Yeah,
eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. And that was it.
right.
Well, now your program is it, like that that fitness, that food app or whatever.
Yeah,
That is that's just a total game changer in my opinion.
yes.
Um, that has helped me tremendously. Going to Costco, I go to Costco, all the time. Just load up on food. I don't know. I think $300 lasts me about a month and a half. I
Awesome.
mean, I think that's pretty cheap for all your meals every day. And
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, go back to the question again. Sorry,
Yep.
I kind of
Yep.
lost,
You know what?
kind of going off.
That piece that you really understand about consistency for yourself now that you didn't really understand back then. What was clicking with you now?
Clicking with me now. Uh, I I guess the thing is now it's my mindset's different because yeah, do I want to look good? Yeah, but I'm also really not like back then. I was playing baseball and all that,
Yeah.
and I just want to be healthy for my family, honestly, and that's been a big game change. I don't need to look like this huge jack guy at the bar anymore, and
Yep.
I don't go to bars anymore, so
Yeah.
or hardly. I'm not there again. I want everybody to know too. I talk about my drinking. I still have beers socially with my friends,
Yeah.
but I don't sit by myself anymore and drink anymore. Nothing like that. But
Yeah. You've respected a better balance in your life and
yeah, yeah,
for yourself, and that's something that we talk about quite frequently as well. The something that stood out so much to me, man, I'll remember this forever, is that piece. And this reminded me of it when you were like, back then I was playing baseball, doing these things. Now you're like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but now you're like, I'm just more focused on my family. You had said something to me after you had lost like your first 30 or 35 pounds, and you were like, man, I had to get really selfish with myself on my health and my fitness, and that ended up making me a better person for everybody around me.
yeah, yep.
Dive into
And
that.
it's it's kind of a weird statement to say, but once you actually dive deep into that statement, yeah, you're just making yourself a better person.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the eating, the health, yeah. You, Sometimes you do have to choose yourself,
Yes.
and when you're not choosing yourself, and well, nobody's ever gonna know how you actually feel inside.
Yeah.
If you're just letting everything bottle up and everything, and well, yeah, that's where stress and everything comes from, and yeah, you just want to shut down, and
Yeah.
I'm very, very good about not having open conversations with people. And I've gotten a lot better at that now.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. The vulnerability
uh,
is crazy when your confidence goes up.
yeah. And I'm not an angry person. I always used to just get so mad about stuff, so
Yeah.
mad. And now it's just, I've gotten a lot better with patience. Patience is a big thing now. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm selling my business. We, my other business, we flipped a house. We're selling that, and there's a lot of stress. And I'm building a house. There's a lot of stress going on, and
Yeah.
you could sit there and get mad and angry every day. If this isn't selling today or that's not selling, well, at the end of the day, if you're gonna get mad you're not gonna change it. You're
Yeah.
better off having patience and you know just control what you can control.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so that's perfect. Like you've mentioned the drinking multiple times. You've mentioned, some of the, in the past, maybe just like feeling depressed about some things or the anger, like you had to work through all of that. How much of this whole transformation was actually physical versus mental?
Yeah, it was the mental part was probably the hardest. You
Yeah.
know, it's pretty easy to go in the gym and throw up some weights and everything, but
Yeah.
if your mind's not right and it's a hard thing to get away with. It's if you're mentally not right, consistency is pretty hard then.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that losing the weight helped fix the mind, or do you think addressing those things helped you lose the weight?
addressing those things definitely helped me lose the weight. Yeah, 100%.
That's,
Yeah.
I want every dude listening to this to hear that right there.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
you've lost the weight before
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
and gained it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't change my mindset though. Now
Yeah.
I've changed my mindset, and like I said, I've never, going back then, like I said, my mindset was is I just want to look good. You
Yeah.
know, now it's for everyone around me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. So what would you say to the guy who's listening? That's exactly where you were at when you started.
everybody can change no matter what position in life you are in. I know life sucks. I mean, we all know that. It sucks, but if you don't man up and say, hey, I'm going to make this choice for myself, things will get better.
Yes.
And it seems like it's really selfish, but it's not.
Yeah.
You have to make choices for yourself that make you happy.
Yes. Dude, so
And it don't just come down to, oh, I'm going to quit eating pizza and chips every night.
yeah.
It comes down to, okay, what can I do for this person or that person? You know, that's going to change you.
Yes. Dude. So what was the biggest lie that you were telling yourself when you started that you can bring up? Like it could bring up a couple of those because I think that'll relate to some of the guys maybe struggling right now too.
Well, the biggest lie I said to myself and I think everybody that drinks says that to themselves. Yeah, I'm not drinking that much.
Yeah.
The one that hit me the hardest, and that made me start thinking. My daughter always says to me, "Yeah, Dad always has a bush light in his hand."
Ooh.
Yeah, Dad, your stomach's getting a little bigger. Well, this is my 6-year-old daughter telling me that, and if my 6-year-old daughter, if she's smart enough to realize that already at that age, I have a problem. So that hit me pretty hard too, and yeah, and I'm glad she said it. So,
A blessing that she said.
oh yeah,
Yeah. And you
yeah,
look down and you have a bush light in your hand and you're like, dang it.
yeah.
Like she ain't lying. You know?
No, no.
Dude. So at what point then during this journey, since you've restarted, in this last year, at what point did you actually stop trying to lose the weight and just start seeing yourself as a different person?
Oh, let's see here.
Like, was there a
Because
specific moment?
I'll be honest with you. When I first, I would say the first 2 or 3 months of the program, you know, I had to work around. It's not like I quit drinking completely. There'd be weekdays. I don't anymore, but there'd be weekdays. Oh, okay, Bush Lights, it's got too much calories in it. Oh, now I'll just buy vodka, mix that with sugar-free Powerade, so then I can, then, what, that starts, it's like, if I want to start actually getting to the next level, I need to start cutting out the stuff more. And quite honest, the first week was hard, but now it's not hard at all anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I said, I was still kind of, it's not day one on Labor Day. I was just like, oh, no, I'm not drinking every day. I had to progressively
Mm.
get to that point of cutting that stuff out.
Dude, I love that you said that because I think that's a judgment that a lot of guys put on themselves, right? Is, day one they make the goal and set the expectation, but it's almost impossible to adhere
But
to a goal that big, right?
yeah,
They get on day three and they F up and
yeah,
they throw, I screwed up again. Why am I even doing this? And they quit.
yeah.
That, or they
And
get 3 months down the road and that happens and they decide to
yeah.
quit after 3 months.
And yeah, going back to your comment about that. And, I've had days where I've missed the gym, obviously. And, I like to, get up tomorrow, you know, get back to consistency again. Just because you ate like shit the night before doesn't mean you need to do it the next day. And that's been a really good thing I've been getting good at is if I have a bad day, don't turn that bad day into tomorrow too. Just okay, start over again. It's if you miss one day, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly right. And that's such a big mind. That's part of this whole mindset transformation, and it's funny because we just talked about on our Wednesday night
Yeah,
let's go about this consistency piece and why it feels hard. And we talked about the reframing of our definition of consistency. And a lot of times we think that means perfection. And,
yeah,
and it doesn't mean perfection. It actually just means like getting going, starting again today, starting
yep,
again. And and that's a huge piece for guys because I do think guys like us and guys wanting to make changes, we do have a tendency to shift into shame and guilting ourselves. You know,
absolutely.
because we put expectations on ourselves. And as men, the world has expectations on us. We're providers, we're protectors, we're all of these things. And that's like you mentioned at the beginning of the call, is like, guys, people don't know what's in our heads because we don't talk about it. And we all, and I think it's perfect. It's June, right? Like it's Men's Mental Health Month. Like
Yeah,
the pressure that is on men in general is tough, and
yeah,
it's, or we all have days that is like, dude, we're at our breaking points. And it looks on the exterior that we're 100% good.
oh yeah,
And we'll
oh
even
yeah,
say it. We'll be on a call with each other and be like, how you doing, man? I'm fine.
yeah. Oh,
I mean,
good, good.
how's your heart, man? Like, and that's so normal for us because you just mask it. And sometimes we mask it with alcohol, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes we mask it with overeating or whatever coping mechanism we want to go to. But what we need to realize is those coping mechanisms continue to just amplify our struggles.
yeah.
And until, like you said, you're like, man, it wasn't the weight loss that stimulated the change. It was me addressing these things that helped with the weight loss and is changing your whole life.
And I think going back to when I first started with you, our first talk, one of my goals was I didn't want to be perfect and obsessive over this because
Yes.
I've learned my lessons from the years. That's when I would always get burned out, and
Yes.
I've gotten I would when I was obsessed with it. If we had family stuff, and no, I'm not going to eat that dinner
Right.
because with my family because I'm not going to meet my goals. Then it's like no, there's more than one day is not going to hurt you.
Right.
Go and eat that dinner at Christmas or Thanksgiving. If grandma has Sunday dinners, go and do it and don't feel bad about it.
Yep.
You can always get back on track. And
Yeah.
it's just, and that was my biggest problem, going back 2018. It would always out eat before,
Yeah.
wouldn't be talking to anybody, and just total mindset thing. And I've
Yeah.
gotten so much better with that. And that's why I'm not saying this program has been easier now, this go around, and it's because my mindset has changed.
Dude, you got the Mamba mentality now.
Yeah.
Got the Lakers jersey. Yeah, it's like
Oh
old school
yeah.
Kobe jersey. I absolutely love it when you jumped on
Oh
the.
yeah.
But that's like I love things like that. I love, the because some of that sports competition mindset is a beautiful thing, and we can apply it into our life. Like it's funny how you would apply that same concept in 2018, and it would mean something completely different to you then than the same concept does today.
Yep.
So back then, that mentality would mean I need to eat my chicken rice before the family dinner and stay locked in.
Yep.
And now that exact same mentality to today means no, I can enjoy things with my family. I can be present. I can make good choices. And my transformation has become this huge piece of longevity in my life that I can live forever versus eating two things for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful progression, man. And that's what we want for people within the program is to understand and start becoming consciously aware of progressions in our life. But those progressions they aren't even comprehensible until you start living.
Yeah.
It's lived experience that wakes you up and brings awareness to your life so you can actually make the change because what you aren't aware about is impossible to change.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
that's the beauty of taking the action in that, man. Like, and sometimes taking the action multiple times. So,
Yeah.
what's been the harder thing for you? Losing the weight or actually being the man that like lives up to the standard that you want to live in?
Oh, quite honestly, losing the weight's been pretty easy.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie about that. When you get your food and nutrition down, you can eat pretty good stuff. I'm sure you've seen my meal logs.
yeah,
And oh, what was the second part of that question again?
yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, the connecting piece to that was, what's been harder, losing the weight and maybe neither has been hard. Maybe it's just been part of the transformation. Maybe it's not even answerable like that. But the question was, what's been harder, losing the weight or being the man that can live this lifestyle forever?
I would say being the man that can live this lifestyle,
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah, I've had to cut some of my friends out in my life. Not
sure.
gonna lie about that. And
Yeah,
would I say that was tough? That's kind of a yes no answer,
yeah,
just because I kind of, and I'm not trying to judge some of my friends either, but I just don't want to be around that stuff anymore, honestly. And
yeah,
it don't make me sad either or depressed to not be around it anymore. And there again, going back to the whole change of mindset thing, and I really didn't have to try hard to stay away from them type of people because I'm sure you've heard people say this, yeah, if they ask if you want to have a beer or something, they say no. Or if you say no, well, they're not going to come over and just have a talk with you because you're not drinking with them.
right, right.
Well, as time goes along, well, then they quit asking you if you want to have a beer on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't heard from a lot of them friends anymore,
yeah.
and the friends I do have that I got good friends that want the same goals as me too, and a lot of it's who you hang around with, and
Yeah. You start to find that the relationships that are supposed to flourish start to flourish.
yeah, yeah, and
That's
it's
a good thing. That is a
I
beautiful.
got I got one friend too. He's kind of going down the same. It was actually that friend that was another thing going back to the point too. He came to my garage one day and he said, "Guy, you need to start doing something with yourself. You're looking terrible."
Whoa,
and
that hits.
and uh, and it's good to have them friends that are honest with you. I wasn't mad at him for saying that, and I thanked him. And he's the one. He was part of the reason I got back in the gym too. He pushed me, and he was honest. He was like, "You are getting fat. You need to do something."
If you don't have a friend like guys listening, if you don't have a friend like that in your life, you need one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if a lot of guys do.
No.
That's the thing. Like we need confrontation in our life, and
Yeah.
a lot of guys are afraid of confrontation. And
And
go ahead.
and if and that's a true friend when they can tell you that. So, and they're not being mean or anything. They're just looking out for your best interest. So,
Dude, it was actually probably harder for him to say that to you
oh
than
yeah,
here. You know,
absolutely.
those are hard things to bring up to people because you know there is a risk of that person like telling you to F off and not talking to
Yeah.
you. like,
Yeah.
like that's good. That happens a lot. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I have clients that say will do that.
Yeah.
I'll bring up those things and they're triggering things. But it's like, man, I have to remember why I was hired. And I have
Yep.
to, you know what I mean? And sometimes those bring up tough conversations. And I am not a naturally confrontational guy. I'd rather us all live in peace, bro.
Yep.
But it's like, but a lot of times in those things, then progress doesn't happen. And it's just delayed frustration on their end that they're not going to get the result they want. And so it's one of those things I've just learned I have to continue to bring up. And when I'm seeing a cycle or a loop in somebody, to bring it up. And I always think I'm bringing it up very politely, but it's not always taken that way. And that's okay because that's
Yep.
and sometimes people will realize in 2 hours and be like, you're right. Sometimes it takes people 2 weeks. Sometimes it
Yeah.
takes people like you come back years later. Sometimes it takes a couple years. And
Yep. Absolutely.
that is okay. And I think it's one of those things like I'm right on the journey with all of you. That's what makes it so beautiful. Of like when I hear you talking, so guys know where your heart's at listening to this. Like you're not speaking from a place of hierarchy, thinking you're better than some of the friends that you've left behind. I know that
Mm.
about you, so I want to address that.
Yeah.
It's the same way with me and my coaching. I don't think I'm in a better place than any of you guys or the social media stuff that I make where I'm literally doing it to tell stories that I've lived through, give examples of lived experience to help. It's a call up for people, not a call out.
Yep.
I think that's important is, and when you become more aware of those things, you don't think you're better. You just lived some of it and you have to make it aware because you want to invite people into the same thing.
Yeah, like I said, and I'm like going back to them. They're still great people. It's
Exactly.
it's it's not that. It's just
Yeah.
I need to. There again, going back to I needed to choose myself.
Yes. Exactly.
Uh,
That's the circle back right there.
yep.
And to circle back all the way to that question that we said we'd circle back to, that you just answered it. That was the
Yeah.
internal change that was made. That
Yep.
was the shift was you had to choose what was best for you and to get in an atmosphere that served what was best for you.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely.
That's such a huge piece. What are any pieces of advice that are just kind of in the forefront of your mind for guys out there maybe struggling or are starting and stopping their fitness journey or just want some inspiration or some help?
I would say the biggest thing is don't be scared and try to open up. I know how hard that is to do,
Yeah.
but if you're going to bed every night and it's, like I was, and it's beating on you every single night, just reach out to somebody. I think that's probably the best answer I can give, and yeah, that's what I did with you. I reached out, and I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever felt this way ever in my life before. I just total mindset change, and I'm happier than ever. And like I said, I own the business. I was making good money and everything, and right now I'm back to 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. And and I'm happy. And yeah, am I making way less money? Yeah, absolutely. But if I wasn't happy before,
Yes.
with more money, what does it matter?
Exactly.
We're only on this planet for a short period of time. If you think about it, well, if you're going to live in misery every day, what's the point? Just there again, just have that conversation and just choose yourself and try not to be scared, because it is a scary thing.
It is, man. It is. The anytime we're faced with change, it's scary.
Yeah,
And
you're scared. You're scared to lose the friends around you. Yeah, it's hard. And but once you start getting your mindset to shift, like right now, everything's easy for me. And I'm not saying I'm 100% there yet, but
Yep.
it feels like I'm 80 to 90% there now.
Yes. Yes.
So
And I'm so glad you brought that up, Levi, because I think that is a major piece for guys when they're starting that transition phase into the new, is that the fear isn't I actually think there's some fear attached subconsciously to what they have to leave behind in order to
yeah,
change. Not so much the work. Sometimes I used to think, oh, they're just afraid of putting in the work. But I've learned that it's not, I think guys are able and willing to do the work. I think it's the old self they have to leave behind, the things that are attached to their old self they have to leave behind. And that's scary,
yeah,
because
it's
they know what everything looked like back here, but you don't know what everything looks like moving forward sometimes. And that's a terrifying thought.
very, yep. It's, yeah, you're used to your same schedule, same get-togethers with friends, and
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to say no.
Yeah.
And because yeah, you don't want to lose them people either, but if that's not a good atmosphere for you to be around, and like I said, you just got to start choosing yourself.
Yeah. You have to realize that those atmospheres are actually ruts.
Yes. Yep.
It's not life. Those are ruts. Like
Yep.
that's the piece. I want to close it up with this, man. How has the journey been worth more than just weight loss for you?
I was, let's see. Yeah, it's just, I don't even, like now, I really don't even think about the weight loss anymore. And yeah, it's there again. I think I would say this program is fitness and therapy for me. So,
Sure. Absolutely.
uh, yeah, that's, sorry, I'm not really going into depth with that question, but
That's fine, man. I think we went
I,
so deep on a couple of those things that
I don't want to repeat myself, but yeah, I would say, yeah, it's just the mindset change has been absolutely that's probably been the biggest game changer, honestly. And like I said, I'm not all the way there either yet. I still got some stuff to work on, but I
Yep,
think I've almost done a complete 180 from when I was from last year to this year. And
absolutely.
yeah, we're coming up on a year here shortly too. And
Yeah, that September will be
yeah,
a full year, and we're in June right now filming this. So yeah, it's been a crazy transformation. 54 pounds lost,
yeah,
an insane
and
mindset change, and I turned around. I think I froze on either for just 1 second. I
and
completely
yeah, to everybody in general, but this, oh yeah,
go ahead. I froze there on you. Keep going.
8 months.
Yeah,
Just yeah, to everybody out there, it's I've been on this journey what 8 months or whatever, and
yeah,
there's been just absolute game changer. It's crazy what you can do with a little bit of time, and
yeah.
I'm excited to see what I'm going to be like in 3 to 4 years now. So
Exactly, because it just keeps stacking.
yeah,
Day
yep,
after day, it just keeps stacking, and that's one of the things we say. We always say like keep stacking days, just keep stacking the days. It's huge. So
yeah,
Levi, thanks so much for coming on and sharing the. I mean, here's the thing. I'm excited to do another one of these with you down the
oh
road
yeah,
because really, like 8 months is a long time, but at the same time, it's a blink. It's a drop in the bucket
yeah,
of what you've accomplished. And I know as you keep going, just like the more wisdom that you're going to gain and be able to share to help other guys. I'm so excited to see that because that's what, part of living beyond average, what we always talk about is. So
yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Thanks for your time too. I'm glad we had this talk. It's fun.
Absolutely,
So,
brother.